I'm saying this out of their earshot, but the chefs here at Sorted have a huge amount of useful knowledge and experience inside their weird brains, which can be particularly useful with everything that's going on right now. We've just got to find a way of extracting it.
Okay, boys, this is how it's going to work. 2 cloches. Under each is pretty much the same dish. One is prepared more traditionally, and one with our super hack cheat tip thing.
They're branding themselves superheroes.
No, it is a super tip. It doesn't make us super.
Good.
Call it what you want, mate.
Yeah.
Are you ready for the Sorted Food Team's super tips?
Oh.
Lift the cloche on A.
That's you.
That's a more traditional take on this dish.
Okay, spaghetti and cheese.
Have a taste. See what you think it is.
I know what this is. Is this a calcio e pepe?
Yeah, cacio e pepe.
Calcio el pepe.
Is this a calcio? Are we going to have some Pinot Grigio with it?
This is pasta
Yeah,
with cheese and pepper.
so simple. It's so effective.
Wow. That is.
So-
When chefs season stuff,
They just chuck everything at
it's
it.
just perfect.
So what do you love about the dish?
It's simplicity.
Cheese, salt, pepper, and then it sort of. You're making me feel ill.
Pretty simple, well-seasoned, delicious tasting pasta. Try cloche B.
Oh, whoa. I mean, good job Italians don't watch this channel. We've already fended them all off.
What's that? Pasta started on the other side of the world, in the Far East.
Instant ramen.
Instant noodles turned into cacio e pepe.
Oh, it's got a very different texture straight away.
That's really good, isn't it? That's really good.
That's amazing.
It's completely different, actually.
So basically, when you wanted pasta well seasoned, what about if we were to use instant noodles? Still got black pepper and butter and cheese, but it's also got that wonderful sachet of seasoning.
That's it, isn't it? That's
It's doing
what
the
it
job
is.
for you.
Oh, right,
The
okay.
flavour is actually more intense.
Yeah, no, definitely. Getting more heat from the pepper as well. It's like it's absorbed more flavour.
You also get all of that spiced and almost herbiness, don't you, from the seasoning packet.
Texture-wise, typical instant noodles in that they haven't got as much bite, they're not as al dente, but actually, as a big, wet mouthful of deliciousness, it's really satisfying. Like it is exactly that. Why would a pro chef make this over that?
So I think when you say pro chef, what you're talking about is a food team who live and breathe food and know when to break the rules. In this instance, it is an instant noodle that we're hacking it with. It makes it quicker, like a third of the time. You're cooking it for 2 or 3 minutes rather than 8, 9, 10 in boiling water, and you've got that seasoning packet. So if, as a normal home cook, you are less comfortable getting the seasoning right, then this little sachet kind of does it for you. Pasta really began in the Far East and China anyway, and the ramen noodle came from China before it moved to Japan, so actually, maybe we're just winding back the clock.
I love
So
that.
you're telling me that this is the traditional dish? You're telling the internet that this is the traditional dish?
No, but I'm also saying that black pepper, a key ingredient there, isn't grown in Rome. But it was a big spice seasoning in Rome way back when. However, it came from the Far East. Do you want to move to number 2 and see what else we can impress you with?
Yes, please.
Can I finish this first, though?
No, pass it here.
You nutter.
Next one, lift cloche A. A favourite on the channel.
Okay.
Oh, yes!
No,
Okonomiyaki.
okonomiyaki.
Correct.
Love that.
Think Japanese pancake. It's got a wonderful filling with an awful lot of deliciousness inside, cabbage being a big ingredient.
The bottom's burnt.
There is a dish underneath all of this. Bonito flakes and nori sheets and everything else.
This is amazing.
For those of you who haven't heard of it before,
It's
it
unbelievable.
tastes better than it sounds.
Oh, it's awesome. I'm buzzing for this.
Cabbage, ginger, spring onion. The sauce on top is our cheat kind of Japanese barbecue sauce,
Oh
which
my
we
God.
use
Wow!
allspice to take you to that part of the world, and it's finished with some deliciousness.
I need the barbecue sauce right now because that's awesome.
It's umami, sweet, sticky,
It's
creamy.
barbecue sauce and mayonnaise
It's
together as well.
ridiculous.
Like, that is amazing. Love it.
Now, when it comes to making it, we've done it a few times on the channel between us. There is that moment of getting the right temperature before you flip it, so you cook it through. Flipping it is quite fiddly. That's the bit that I think puts people off. So lift cloche B.
What? Waffles?
It's economy awful.
A chef did this.
Well, do you know what? Right, so we've done amazingly well. And I'll tell you why. Because we spent a decade saying to these guys, make that easier. And they go, here you go, and give you a chefy solution. And you go, yeah, it's lovely, but can you make it easier? Can you make... Now, they're putting us in video formats where they're making things
Yeah.
easier.
Yeah.
We've got them.
We might have got them, or they might have given up.
Or they might have gone crazy.
It is exactly the same batter, exactly the same ingredients, except rather than the complicated bit of putting it in a pan and flipping it and knowing when to flip it in temperature control, whack it in a waffle iron.
So it cooks the top and the bottom evenly.
And you get those lovely little divots for your sauces on
Oh,
top.
yes! This is actually really smart in theory. Cheers.
Cheers.
You've got an added waffle texture to something that was already incredible.
The top and the bottom have gone crustier. You've got some nice charring on the bottom of the okonomiyaki there. Really nice. But this is more of a crispy texture, and it's actually, that's really nice, isn't
I
it?
love the pockets of sauce. The original is a worldie. Actually, I prefer the waffle texture.
Really?
Yeah.
I like it, it's different, and it's really pleasant. The reason that this is good to me is because I have experience of burning okonomiyaki. It's really hard to know when it's cooked through and to when it's gone too far and you've burnt the bottom.
Yeah.
And this solves that. And it doesn't just solve it because we crowbarred a solution into a waffle iron. It solves it and actually adds something
Yeah.
decent
Yeah.
to the end result.
Yeah. What else could go in?
Falafel.
Falafels.
Falafels?
Waffle.
For waffles, okay.
Pajom, the Korean pancake. A bhaji mix. A bread dough. A sponge. An enriched dough.
That's quite a lot of alternatives.
He
I like this.
hates a one-purpose
I
machine.
like this.
And so he's gone out to
Yeah.
force other uses into a one-purpose machine. And it's worked.
He's the last person in the world I'd expect to break rules.
Yeah, I know.
That waffle okonomiyaki is not traditional. It's not what you're going to get in Japan. It's excellent street food if you go there. We've had it in Tokyo. It's insanely good.
Yeah.
It doesn't need changing when you eat out. But if you want to cook it at home, here's an easier way. We're doing well, 2 so far. Would you like a third?
Yes, please.
If you're enjoying this, there are some small things you can do that make a big difference to us. Like the video. Subscribe if you aren't. Click the notification bell and select all. Thanks.
Fingers crossed, 3 for 3. Lift cloche A.
It's like a buttery, leaky soup.
Yeah.
Like a chili drizz.
chili oil.
It's got a little bit of chili oil on it, which is like our addition, I think, in these winter months, just to give it an extra lift. But underneath is something very classic.
Very silky, starchy, like a potato and leek. Potato and chive. Potato and, what's the herb?
I think your potato and leek is pretty close. It's not potato and leek, it's leek and potato,
Oh, yes.
which is a classic soup. But okay, what we did was prepare it very classically. So you sweat off leeks and potato, which you peel and chop and put through. Sweat it all down, stock, and then finish it once it's blended with some chopped herbs. We have added the chili as an extra little kick to what is otherwise a very simple soup.
Delicious.
At this time of year, soups are the way forward because they are super seasonal, they're affordable, they're nutritious, and they're really easy. However, what about cloche B?
It's a classic. Don't mess with a classic.
Always mess with a classic. Make it easier. Or something. Make it green.
Is that what you were expecting?
No. This has got to be pea, right?
Again, the chili is an addition to give it that extra kick. Optional extra, but what about the soup itself?
Yeah, that is delicious. It tastes different, but it has the same properties. Like it's creamy, it's thick. The chili oil is awesome. Like that really makes a difference, and it's herby.
Is it herby because the greens have been blended into it more rather than scattered through?
So there are two main things we've changed here. One of them, you're absolutely right, rather than chop herbs finely, which involves knife technique and then stir it through, we just blended it in. You're blending the soup anyway, so combine the two. What you get is a real freshness. You add in those herbs raw in the last 30 seconds of blending, and you get that wonderful green, vibrant, fresh herby colour.
It's slightly less starchy. It's not as gloopy as a finish.
Perhaps not as starchy and floury, and the reason being, aside from saving the knife work on chopping herbs, we've also saved a lot of knife work with the potatoes. Rather than peeling and chopping potatoes, that is made with a bag of kettle chips.
What? Potato chips, crisps.
Yep.
What, rehydrated?
Yeah. Thrown into the rest of the ingredients. Once the leeks have sweated down, you throw in the kettle chips
What,
with
just
the
dried?
stock. Yep. And what they do is they hydrate. You think about what crisps are. They've got that fattiness to them, so you're adding that richness. They've also mean that every crisp has got that perfect dextrinization, that golden colour that makes everything taste good. You've got that in every single crisp.
This
We've
is
created monsters.
We have.
What quantities are we talking? Like a handful, a whole bag, like what?
Pretty much hand for hand. A potato and a handful of crisps. They kind of end up doing a similar thing. Anywhere where you need potato as a thickener, i.e. you need to cook potatoes and then blend it, or you want to hydrate and have sliced potatoes, crisps are already done for you. So I did it the other day and I passed it on for a tortilla, Spanish style. It's slices of potato
Gratin.
wrapped around egg.
Can I make a dauphinoise?
Yeah?
What you're also doing in this is you're letting us loose. So the next time there's a battle, this is your fault.
You boys, after 12 years, you boys are loose enough. Like there is literally nowhere you haven't gone with food fusion.
True, that is true.
Well, I've got more ideas, I don't know about you.
yeah.
Like we said at the beginning, everything that's going on at the moment, we've been saying to the chefs, hey, can you make stuff easier and quicker and potentially more cheap? So this is the result of that. I wasn't expecting anything like this.
Look, as a community, as a country, as a world, we should probably be moving more away from ultra-processed foods. They are high fat, salt, sugar, and we should be doing more scratch cooking. However, there are times when processed food can get you 95% of the way, sometimes better, with a fraction of the effort. And it's probably worth saying that all of these cheats and hacks today, along with a ton of others, is the thinking that went into our latest cookbook, Can't Be Asked with Rules, where you can break the rules and the misconceptions to just get deliciousness on the table super easy at home.
How many more have you got left?
We've got one more for you today. Oh, yes. But there's dozens of ideas in the book. Last one. We've done lots of cheats and hacks and tips. I think it's time to celebrate. Lift cloche.
A milky delight.
A cocktail.
Cocktail, yeah, okay.
I mean, you can either just sip from the glass. I've given you straws if you want. It's up to you.
Yeah.
Just don't blow bubbles.
Let's see it off. Oh, no, let's not.
I mean, it is more a cocktail to be sipped.
I mean, I chugged that. I don't even know where it was.
Was it nice?
It is. Wait,
I mean, I feel like through a straw, maybe not.
What is that?
Wait.
I've had that before.
Okay, that is whiskey, and
There we go. That's probably better.
that is a whiskey-based cocktail.
It's a whiskey sour.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's got bourbon in it, but then it's got sugar syrup, lime juice, egg white, which gives it that sort of really silky, creamy, inverted commas, thing, and it's shaken over ice. Then it's strained off and served over ice.
What are you supposed to be doing with a whiskey sour? Okay, they just turn things different colours. You've done that one. Not impressed.
Have a sip, maybe not through the straw.
Well, that's fruity. It tastes completely different. It's absolutely delicious. That is your kind of cocktail.
They both are. I look a whiskey.
Well, it's still bourbon, and it's still sour.
That is outrageously good.
That's nicer, for my palate, I would say.
So I think there is this perception that good cocktails are difficult and you need to be a mixologist to get it right. Certainly when you go out and you see bar staff shaking them, you think, oh, I need a cocktail set. All of that becomes more tricky at home. What we've done is just use leftovers more creatively. A jar of raspberry jam, the last little bit that you can't quite get out with a knife. Instead, add lime juice, whiskey. We've actually gone for aquafaba, so it's a vegan version, and shake it. Your cocktail set is your jam jar. You waste nothing because you get all of that last jam. You have the fruit and you also have the sugar sweetness from jam without having to make sugar syrup. It saves on so many points, zero food waste, and more exciting leftovers.
I do that.
That's mad.
I do that with cream and jam. I think you taught me that ages ago, to make a whipped strawberry cream. Ebbers does the same with alcohol.
Of course he does.
All I'm saying is sometimes people see leftovers as boring or as difficult to be creative with.
This is excellent because I have a range of spirits. And
I have a range of jams.
now, as soon as I get, in fact, I might just get halfway through and go, yeah, that's pretty much on its way out. Dug, 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 dug.
You're using a jar of jam, and as you get towards the bottom, you're like, it's nearly time. I deserve the drink now.
But the reality is, it doesn't matter how careful you are, it's difficult to get that last bit of jam or marmalade or peanut butter out of a jam jar.
Sorry.
Whoa, hey. What am I adding to peanut butter right now? Tell me.
I'm just saying I'm giving you options.
No, you're not. Tell me. Give me details.
Well, why not just milk, like you suggested White Russian?
Milk and rum.
The point here, as with all of the examples today, start to think outside the box with how we can use these cheats and hacks and tips just to make your cooking easier. In this case, it's about not wasting anything, avoiding leftovers, and they don't have to be boring or difficult to use, just be playful.
I think all bar the first one, which I will be doing and like literally slopping at home.
Yeah.
I
Slopping
would
at home.
make and like for when people come round, and then halfway through like the hors d'oeuvre of the soup, I'll be
Yeah.
like,
It's got kettle chips in that.
and they'll be like, what? And I'll be like, yeah, I know what I'm doing so much. that
Yeah.
I'm able to create something that tastes like
Yeah.
that using crisps, and people will love me even more. I thought we'd have to spend the video extracting the value out of their heads.
No.
The value is already there, and the extraction has been done over the last decade. So
Keep doing what we're doing, basically.
keep doing what we're doing.
These are cheats and hacks we're proud of.
Are they our nicknames?
Cheats and hacks.
Cheats and hacks.
Cheats and hacks. It's like chasing status.
Yeah, cheats and hacks.
Let's start a drum and bass.
Called cheats and hacks.
Yeah, cheats and
Like
cheats
it.
and hacks.
It's like boots and cats.
Yeah, boots and cats, but cheats and hacks. Cheats and hacks. Like no vowels. Cheats and hacks.
Oh, you've had a sour too many.